Alrighty, welcome back everyone. It is LaughNgamez here. I'm back with another Starcraft 2 1 versus 1 bot AI cast. We have got ourselves what should be a good one here today, as it's gonna be Veteran, the Terran Scrapper bot, taking on Ketrock. And you may say, where are all of this bot's SCVs? And the answer is, well, apparently Ketrock has been programmed to rush with some workers this game. I don't think I've ever seen Ketrock do this strategy, but now we are seeing it as Veteran kind of panics and goes for a solid wall hard counter, it looks like. That is one way to solve that problem, as I do believe Ketrock just chose a non-winning strategy, as some SCVs tried to sneak on in, but I do think that this rush has been a bit of a failure, although Veteran is pulling a lot of its own workers off the mineral line, as it's like, oh, there's enemies nearby, I need to get ready to fight, but in reality its wall has done the job it needed to, and so Ketrock is going to be playing this game from behind, that is for sure. And man, oh man, I wonder if there's redundancy to this, if it's ever going to give up or if it's just going to keep doing this moonwalk with a bit of a fail. But yeah, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another one of these bot versus bot matches. I didn't really get to do my introduction with this one, so go ahead and click the like button if you haven't already. Let's go for how many SCVs are involved in this rush. I don't know, there's like 20 SCVs here. Let's go for 20 likes on this video, so click that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you want to see more things like this. Join the Discord, and yeah, leave a comment saying more bots if you want to see more bots, the good, the bad, and the ugly of the botting scene. I do think Veterans should eventually be able to get out like a Marine or something and start shooting these up, but is it going to try and get out like gas first or something? Ketrock is building up behind this, however it's supply block, so it's got to build a depot, and so it's saying we will rebuild. Veteran has got quite a lead in this game, although its mining is really disrupted. Is it waiting to build an orbital command? Is that why it needs 150 minerals? Yes, it is. And Ketrock really is just not giving up here. It is saying these boys are ride or die. Clearly this rush does not work against Terran bots. There's a reason why Terrans on the ladder don't SCV rush each other, but this could be a very strong rush against bots that don't have programming to solve this. A Marine is now on the way out for Veteran, so I think these SCVs are going to have themselves a very bad time momentarily here. As that Marine now pops on out, Ketrock is going to be on the receiving end of this, but then the doors are open all of a sudden and the SCVs are going to be charging right on through. So instead of going home and trying to live life happily ever after, they instead go into the corner here and start SCV drilling. They're actually all stacking up and attacking, which puts out a lot of damage, but this one Marine is kind of ruining the party as Ketrock is having a really tough time here, losing all these workers. I don't know how many are left in here, but it's not a lot. And so Veteran is in a very good spot this game. Man, oh man, what a match here. Veteran is then also moving across the map with its Marines, which seems like that could just be a death sentence for the blue Terran bot. Ketrock's mining a lot of gas. It doesn't need gas. It needs minerals. Silly Ketrock bot. You are not managing your economy right, but yeah, this strategy is a very bizarre one from Ketrock, and I've never seen it do it before. Veteran, great response by the bot author to program that, to make sure that it quickly threw up that depot, got the solid wall. There was a worker rush meta in the botting scene early on, so, but as like the early days of StarCraft 2, players and bot authors eventually figured that out. I do think Ketrock will just be dead here. It's got 8 SCVs that are going to have to fight 3 Marines, which is not good. And in come the Marines. What are the SCVs going to do? Are they just going to die? Looks like the answer is going to be yes, unfortunately, as yeah, Ketrock's bot maybe not having the most programming to try and make this strategy work, but I do love that it was willing to try it. I think Veteran's going to take this one, ladies and gentlemen. But I will say this was entertaining to say the least, and now I guess it's time to reveal that this is indeed going to be a 2-game video, as we don't want to just put up like 2-minute long matches on YouTube all the time. So We're going to do another one of these combo ones as we watch these Marines. Cue the Benny Hill theme, chasing down the last SCV. And yeah, well done to Veteran. And we'll just watch as the CC randomly lifts up and then load into the next match. All right, and here we are into game number 2 for this video today. I get the feeling it's not going to be a worker rush. As Ketrock did say, its strategy is going to be Banshee. And so we actually do have another Ketrock game. We're going to see how well it does against a different opponent in this match. It's going to be LaughNgamez. And I do think the last game is a good example of why the more advanced bots have different strategies, even in the same matchups, because something like a worker rush like that, even if it fails sometimes, I believe Ketrock bot probably wins against veterans some other times when it's doing other strategies, but clearly not with that one. Now we will see how Ketrock's going to do against LaughNgamez. I'm actually excited for this one because LaughNgamez is looking really scary lately, but Ketrock is quite a darn good bot when it comes to playing defensive. And so we're going to see how well it can do against LaughNgamez, which is very much a rush-centered bot with like mass stalkers. Then we saw it follow up with the Tempest. And so we're going to see if Ketrock is prepared to handle that. And when I am casting this... when I am casting Ketrock, I know sometimes I say Ketrock bot. That's because the author of Ketrock, the bot, which is just simply named Ketrock, is also Ketrock. So for those of you that don't know, in the Starcraft scene, Ketrock is a bit of an, I'll say, infamous individual. For those of us that have played him on the ladder, and I have played Ketrock on the ladder, because I think the last time I played him, he might have gone for like, was it planetary fortress rushes floating over into my base or something like that? He is a individual that likes to play some crazy strategies. Likes to turtle up, and he programmed a bot that plays a lot like him. Now, we're going to see how well Ketrock will handle aggression coming from LaughNgamez. We see the tag mining fix. I'm not sure exactly what that's for, but as long as there's some redundancy there, that's important. There's going to be a single Marine on the way for Ketrock getting up an orbital in the main base. We'll see if it's going to be a planetary at the natural. A planetary at the natural, I think, is a very good choice when playing against a bot like LaughNgamez, which will certainly be getting aggressive. However, it's not just going to be simple stalkers out of LaughNgamez this match, because there is indeed a Stargate on the way, potentially for some Oracle harassment. And then Adepts are starting to move out onto the map as this game gets going. This planetary fortress is halfway done. SCVs are actually getting transferred down, but the Adept successfully shades into the main base, so Marines are going to have to start chasing her away, and they will indeed start shooting at that Adept. Adepts with a range of 4, Marines with a range of 5. Technically, they can out-micro. Of course, that shade changes things up, and programming perfect micro is very difficult. 3 Marines are doing their job, though, of chasing this Adept. Is there another one coming on in? Yes, there is. However, the planetary is definitely keeping her away, and the Adept will go down. I don't believe it got any kills. This other one is going behind this mineral line, potentially, but it cancels the shade, and so we are going to see Ketrock just have a pretty good opening here. There is a Phoenix on the way for LaughNgamez. Ketrock's getting up a siege tank as well. And yeah, so far things are looking like pretty good for the Terran. The Protoss hasn't got too much done, but of course LaughNgamez has got a solid economy going up behind this. And yeah, I'm just excited to see how these two are gonna match up. A siege tank is on the way for Ketrock. That will help zone units away from the planetary fortress. It's something that Ketrock seems to utilize, I think, in pretty much all of its games. In come the Phoenix, though, and they are actually going to lift up some of those Marines. A couple more Marines come forward. Leaving the safety of their planetary fortress is not a wise decision. A tank is going to siege up next to these refineries, going to shoot that Adept, ensure the kill on that. The Phoenix can potentially lift up the siege tank, as LaughNgamez is programmed to utilize Phoenix, but that doesn't mean it's going to be easy to engage. We see one turret up. That's going to help with this defense. The Phoenix actually flies in range of the turret. The sort of slipping of the units when they are tasked with something means that those Phoenix slipped right into the range of that turret, not necessarily having the best programming to avoid that while also lifting up. So good start for Ketrock, just hunkering down on 2 bases. Behind this, we do see a third going up for Deimos. It's making Stalkers, getting up a Robo, and we'll see if if Ketrock can hold on right now. The Vikings are gonna be important as far as defending against the Phoenix go. But then it's also gonna be very important to see how many Vikings get made, because Deimos is a bot that eventually transitions into Tempest. If it's sort of ground-based pressure doesn't work, it goes for the Tempest. We see 2 Vikings coming on in here, chasing the Phoenix away, as they're just going to be zoned out, flying over all these Stargates. Those Ketrock is going up to 4 Stargates, Starports, pardon me, in the early game. I've been casting Starcraft for like 10 years at this point, and I still interchange Starports and Stargates. And I think a lot of commentators are guilty of similar little things like that. We do have the siege tank doing a lot of work, shelling away on top of these Stalkers. The Stalkers are trying to break the planetary, but it's just not going to happen with a tank with this planetary. And in previous matches, you'd just look at this game and you'd say, well, Deimos is kind of screwed. It's never going to break this position. I'm waiting to see the potential transition, though, as the Tempest could definitely change that. An SCV moving out for Ketrock, attempting to get up an expansion. That gets shut down. More SCVs are being produced, but a third base isn't going to go up easily. The 1 Phoenix is still flying around, a little unsure of what to do since it's lost all its comrades, although there's one over on the left side. Ketrock is still under siege here, though, as 6 gateways go up for Deimos. In comes some counter damage from Ketrock, though. A Banshee was produced. It's got Cloak. There's actually 3 Banshees out now, so all of a sudden things could be going really bad for Deimos here. We got a 4th Nexus on the way, but there's really no answer to these Banshees, and so Deimos, a bot which seems to find its success by being aggressive, is all of a sudden being countered hard by mass Banshees. The Phoenix are good, but they are not in position to help deal with these Banshees. They seem to be programmed to be out on the map. No Stalkers are warping in or nothing to help deal with these Banshees, so I think they're just going to kill workers. And we may just be witnessing a bit of a checkmate here by Ketrock. The Stalkers are on the front lines and Immortals being produced. Deimos isn't quite thinking of a response to this Banshee harassment, so a great counter move by Ketrock, which is just producing 5 Banshees at a time. Soon there'll be enough to be able to take on the Stalkers potentially, and Deimos is just having no economy left. And so Deimos is a bot that has been programmed by Team Eris, the team that's made the best defensive bot in the botting community, I think it's safe to say. However, Deimos, the bot, is just primarily focused on aggression, and it's had really good success with that. But there is this hole here, it seems, with the Banshees just being able to kill off workers. No defense. Deimos is a bot that wins the game by going for aggression, and it is going to try and break this planetary once more, but it's just not going to happen. The planetary can be repaired by SCVs. The tank is doing a lot of work, and this attack isn't going to have any success. I was excited to see if Deimos was going to get up to its Tempest, but I think it seems that Ketrock may just be getting checkmate and winning the game before we get to that point. I mean, 1 base is still mining, but there's more Banshees out on the map. The Stalkers are going to be going down at some point, as they're not being replaced or reinforced. An SCV even made it out to produce a 3rd base. That was a bit of a hole in the game for Ketrock, not building a command center on the high ground when it couldn't get up a 3rd base expansion. But that doesn't really matter when the Banshees are killing all the workers of your opponent, killing off the Nexus. The Phoenix are tasked strictly on scouting and engagement, it seems, not programmed to defend at all. So Deimos does seem to lack a bit of detection defense, it would seem, as even if it did warp in Stalkers, it doesn't have detection in place. There was 1 observer made, but that was strictly to assist with the aggression. And so, ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed this match, make sure to go ahead and hit that like button. I think it's safe to say that this one's over, as the mass Banshee production is just tearing apart this Nexus. Deimos got checkmated, and what a great, well, I'm not going to say a great game, but what an informative game to display the skill of these 2 bots. Ketrock starting off with a bit of a wacky game that was doomed from the start, but then redeeming itself by just having a solid defense strategy with the bit of harassment into the mass Banshees, which is very darn cool. And yeah, ladies and gentlemen, if you watched all the way to the end of this video and you're not a subscriber, go ahead and subscribe. Join the Discord, which is linked down below. We have the one Banshee coming on in to help start chasing down, or the one Phoenix to start chasing down the Banshees, but there's 15 on the map. There's only 5 probes left. And all the Nexi are dying. Nexi? I think it's Nexi. And yeah, that is going to be that. But yeah, become a YouTube member if you want to support the channel. I don't have a patron, but that's the best way to do that. Leave a comment, though. That helps. You guys are the best community when it comes to the likes and the comments. The ratio we get on these videos is amazing, and it does encourage me to cast more. Casting with a book as an armrest right now, since my chair is not the best in the hotel where I'm at, so we make do in the name of Starcraft. And that is going to be that. Thanks so much for tuning in. I'll see you guys next time.